Alright, so Camille's available in the Asia server. I didn't get him because I don't have the pools, and I don't play in the Asia server, so getting the pools is pretty impossible for me. And I also don't have early access, so doing gameplay showcase is sadly not something that I can do. But we have full access to his kit, so I can talk a little bit about him, explain his kit, how he works, gameplay, builds as well, because it has some really interesting stuff regarding the gear recommendation depending on the weapon that you're using. If you want just a cheat sheet that you can get all the information more easily, there is the guide in the link down in the description that you can always check. Maybe some of the information, depending on when you're watching this video, some of the information here can be outdated. So let's first talk about Camille's kit. Camille is essentially a 6-star Akekuri, except that Akekuri is more generic and Camille is more specialized. He is for hit teams specifically. Kind of. Akekuri provides attack, link effects, and SP recovery. Camille is going to provide link effects, SP recovery, and hit susceptibility and hit damage. So it's not attack, it's not that generic. This means that Camille is much better if you're playing with Levitine or Rossi, and they both have a really good use for the link effect. In case you don't know, link is an effect that increases the damage of the next battle skill or ultimate you cast. So essentially you get link, you use a battle skill, this is going to do more damage, get another link, use ultimate or whatever you have available that is going to do a lot of damage and deal more damage with it as well. For Rossi, this would be her ultimate. The ultimate with link effect is going to deal massive damage to enemies, and for Levitine, that would be the battle skill. For Levitine specifically, I would say that Camille is much more interesting with how frequently he can provide the link effect for Levitine. So more battle skills with link effects essentially means more damage for you. Going over his kit, most of the gameplay is going to revolve around the combo skill and the ultimate, but the battle skill is also really important. You can think about the battle skill a little bit like Untal focus, you know, it's a skill that you're going to use not that frequently, it's something that you're only going to be using once in a while to refresh the buffs. It deals hit infliction to enemies in a small area, so yes, it has some AoE, which is pretty good, and it applies weakness and hit susceptibility to enemies. This essentially lowers the damage they are going to deal to you and increases the damage they are going to take from hit damage. It also has some synergies with the combo skill, because whenever Camille hits an enemy with these Fire Fang Vesper Wings on them, it is going to trigger an extra explosion that deals more damage. So essentially, you always want to apply the Fire Fang Vesper Wings on the enemy, but this can only exist in a single enemy at a time. So essentially, this is just like Untal Focus, as I mentioned before. It is mostly for single target damage, to increase the damage against a single enemy. It has a really long duration, 45 seconds, so you don't need to cast this that often, although you're probably going to be casting for the hit inflictions on any team. Either we're talking about Levitine or we're talking about Rossi. It is still a skill that you're going to be casting for the hit infliction anyway. Combo skill triggers whenever hit inflictions are absorbed or consumed. For consumption, this will be whenever you apply another arch infliction on top of hit, so this is consuming the hit to trigger an arch reaction, or for example, when Rossi uses her combo skill that is going to consume the inflictions from the enemy. Absorbed will be when you use Levitine on the team, and whenever you do a final strike on the enemy, Levitine absorbs the hit inflictions from enemies to give her stacks, and these enhances her battle skill. So he works perfectly with both of them, really good synergy, and whenever you use the combo skill, you get 20 SP. The main problem is that thing right here, 18 seconds cooldown. It is pretty massive, which is why two of the best gear sets for him would be Chimbo and Frontiers, but you're probably going to be using Frontiers most of the time. We also have down here a little bit of explanation or numbers about Hunter Pursuit. Hunter Pursuit is an enhanced battle skill that is actually his combo. And this is only available thanks to the ultimate. By using the ultimate, you deal hit damage to enemies in an area, you apply hit infliction to them, you recover SP, and you enhance your next battle skill to be Hunter's Pursuit. This one is going to cost 0 SP, and as a combo skill, it is going to recover SP for your team, and is also going to generate ultimate energy for you. So while this is a 130 ultimate energy cost, essentially it is a 120 ultimate energy cost, because whenever you use the ultimate you get 10 energy back. And these are going to be your main sources of SP regeneration for the team. The battle skill is only for the hit inflictions and the effects that you only need to refresh every 45 seconds. Some of the other utility is going to come from the combat talents. The first one, as I explained before, provides a link for your team. This happens whenever the combo skill hits an enemy with the Fire Fang Vesper wings, which, as I said before, you always want to have this applied on the main target that you're facing. Whenever this happens, Camille is also healed, and this is really important for the second combat talent. Essentially, this is a 20% damage increase for Camille and 5% hit damage increase for everyone else in the team. Basically speaking, you just focus on using the combo whenever possible, you focus on reapplying the battle skill whenever needed. Outside of this, you only use the battle skill for the hit inflictions if you need, especially on Leviathan teams, maybe on Rossi teams as well, depending on the team that you're running with her. Then just do combo whenever it's available, ultimate if you have the energy for it, and then just keep using more combos. A lot of SP for you to keep spending and dealing more damage to enemies. Now, moving to weapon and gears, let's first talk about gears. This gear recommendation right here that is available on the preview page of Camille is actually pretty good, it is pretty consistent, and it makes a lot of sense. Just to show you the actual stats of these gears, Frontier's Protection Suit is going to give you intellect, agility, and ultimate gain efficiency, really good stats that we're looking for. Gloves, same thing, intellect, agility, and ultimate gain efficiency, and the tubes T1, they are going to give intellect, agility, and secondary attribute, which means more intellect for Camille. And intellect increases the amount of healing Camille is going to trigger whenever he does a combo on the enemy. But depending on the weapon that you're using, you might need to change this gear a little bit because of ultimate gain efficiency breakpoints that you might be looking for. This is going to change a lot depending on the weapon, because the main problem with Camille's signature weapon is that the ultimate gain efficiency is tied to your number of copies. By default, you can only go up to 4 out of 4, and this means a total of 28.8% ultimate gain efficiency, assuming you have a single copy of the weapon and the maximum essence for the flow effect. The effect itself is really good. We're talking about an attack buff for the entire team. This is essentially the termite cutter for pole arm users. The main problem is only the ultimate gain efficiency that is a little bit in the low side, and because it's locked behind weapon copies. If you want a really good budget option, it's definitely going to be the Battle Pass weapon. It is actually a really good option because the ultimate gain efficiency is a secondary stat. So you don't need to get extra copies, just a single copy of this weapon is going to give you a total of 46.4% ultimate gain efficiency as long as you fully level it up and also get the essence with the ultimate gain efficiency boost for the secondary effect. The weapon effect is much inferior to the signature weapon though. We're talking about, well, hit damage for the team in a pretty low value, honestly. But it works pretty nicely in Rossi teams because it also increases the physical damage as well. So for Rossi teams, I would highly recommend just go Beacon of Dirty, just a single copy. Is going to be more than enough for you. You can get extra copies if you have the resources available for it, but a single copy is already more than enough. Signature is pretty strong. The lack of ultimate gain efficiency means that you're going to need some extra ultimate gain efficiency on some of your other gears to make up for it. So maybe you're going to be replacing one of the tubes with a Redeemer Seal, for example, or even forfeiting the Frontier's piece for more ultimate gain efficiency, depending on the rotation that you're looking to achieve. And finally, for team recommendations, there's not so much to talk about it. As I said, Camille is essentially going to be focusing on hit teams. There are only 2 hit DPS units in the game as of now, these being Leviathan and Rossi. And he's going to be a really good option for both of them. For Rossi specifically, Rossi got 2 really good partners on this version. in both Mifu and Camille. For the last slot on Rossi teams, things can be really flexible, so it mostly depends on what you have available. Akekuri, for example, is still a valid option. It is more hit infliction, it works as SP generation. Generic buffs, they definitely work. You can also go for Chen for more vulnerable applications, which means more crush on enemies. You can go for Pogranichnik, for example, for breach effect, which increases the physical damage that Mifu is going to do to enemies. But we don't have a lot of vulnerable applications on this team, so maybe it is not going to feel that good. Gilberta can be another option, but I feel that if you're going for Gilberta, you might as well just focus entirely on arts damage, so I would also replace Mifu with Pearly Cup, for example. For Leviatine, I don't think I need to explain that much, it's just amazing synergy since Leviatine is always going to be absorbing hit inflictions from enemies. Camille can provide hit inflictions on enemies. Wolfguard remains as a really good partner thanks to the SP efficiency, so essentially you just have a bunch of hit inflictions, and Leviatine is going to get a lot of link effects on her battle skill, which is massive for her damage. As for the last slot on Leviatine teams, it is still super flexible just as it was before. You can go for Gilberta, you can go for Ardelia, Untal, maybe even Akekuri if you really want to. So it's all about what you have available and what you want to run. In general, really good team that is going to feel really nice with all this extra link effects and SP regeneration from Camille. That's it for today's video, hope it helped you understand a little bit of his kit, and once again, if you want to just quick check if there's any new recommendations for her gears, check the link down in the description for a more updated guide, and that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching this video. Have a beautiful day, see you next time.